Welcome everybody. This is the November 2022 joint office meeting for Boynton, Wellington, and Boca Raton. Our hosts today are Carol Stover, our regional vice president, and myself. My name is Justin Carinci, and I'm the managing broker for the Boca Raton office. Our guests are Sherry Gunther, the amazing Sherry Gunther, I should say, with Prosperity, Kim Frici and Cheryl. I hope, Cheryl, you could make it, but I know Kim is in the meeting from FTGA, the Miracle Workers. Saud is going to join us via a pre-recorded video from American Home Shield, and Gabby Evans from Home Services Insurance. Gabby has an extremely valuable presentation on home insurance. As you all know, the home insurance situation in Florida, it's very interesting right now, and Gabby is going to share outstanding information about it. And with that said, Sherry, it's all yours. Just let me know when I have to move to the next slide.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. It is great to see you guys as always. And as we reflect on gratefulness this month, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out to the Chief Appraiser event. It was great. We made pancakes. You got awesome information for your tool belt. Super fun. So thank you so much. And thank you for the awesome referrals from Miss Natalie Alvarez, Miss Nancy Meinholz, the new agent, Miss Julie Winters. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the team, all of our agents, our new agents, Miss Debbie Lang and Mr. Dan Hart. I appreciate you guys so much. And of course, thank you, Cheryl and Lindsay and Kim from FTGA for doing an amazing job, as well as Gabby Evans for helping us with all our insurance needs. So I appreciate you guys. As for the market, not yet, Justin, sorry. As for the market, the Fed is still trying to get a handle on inflation. And I'm sure some of you guys have heard that they raised the rates about 3/4 of a point last week. But remember, this is the rate that banks are lending to each other, the large institutions, but it does have an effect on the bond market. So rates have definitely ticked up and they're hovering around the 7s right now with no points. So that being said, now Justin, please, the world is not coming to an end, my friends. So let's review this lovely slide again, that, you know, the rates right now are still not the highest they've been in the history of keeping track of interest rates. So remember what I said last month, that almost 1,000 people a day are moving to Florida. So let's pick up the phone, start calling through our database, push through that call reluctance and dial for dollars, because people are still buying and selling. So, and we love helping people, right? Okay, next slide, please. So we're going to skip that one. Sorry. Wait, no, there was. Did you take away the first slide?
This one we're skipping. That's the next one.
Oh, no, there was like one in the very beginning. Why?
This is it.
Okay, there. 3 reasons to buy or sell. Okay, great. So let's talk about the 3 reasons. Next slide. There we go. All right, so why is it a good time to buy or sell right now, right? So we know with the market shift and the rates and everything, there's fewer buyers and sellers, right? So that means less competition, which is less demand. So this is great because it's given the buyers more negotiating power, right? And then the sellers, it's giving them negotiating power for their approximate purchase. So do we really want them to wait to see, oh, if prices come down some more, or we're going to wait until after the holidays when lots of other people are thinking the same exact thing, right? And then, you know, come January or whenever they decide to pick up, it's going to be a feeding frenzy. So let's encourage them to buy now. 'Tis the season, build equity, and not continue to make a landlord richer. Okay, so next slide, please. All right, you guys have been hearing a lot about buy downs, 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs. You know, what does all this mean in English? So I shared this slide last time. So this, what you guys are seeing in front of you now, is a permanent rate buy down. I prefer this one. So basically, this is a win-win-win for everybody, because if you look under what's happening right now in the market, right? So the properties are staying on the property. The properties are staying on the market longer, right? So I'm seeing a lot of purchase price drops, right, in the listing price. And we don't want that because that affects your paycheck, right? So if you look here and you see the 3%, that's, in this example, what the seller is reducing their purchase price from 389 down to 377. But as you could see in the rate buy down column, a 2-point buy down is 62.32. So that is half of what it would cost for the seller to drop their purchase price. So that is going to help, less money out of pocket for the seller, right? A lower mortgage payment for the buyer. So that's another win. And then your commission stays the same. That's a win-win-win. We really want that. So we want, benefit for all parties, right? But basically, so this is the permanent buy down. And this is a great option right now for the sellers. And so, yes. So, and now we're going to talk about the next slide.
Yeah, the buy down is outstanding. I really, I encourage all of you to get in touch with Sherry if you want more details.
Yes.
But this chart right here, outstanding. You realize that the seller would have to reduce almost $30,000 to get to exactly the same payment for the buyer. But just with the buy down of 2 points, which cost the seller a little bit over $6,000, compare that to 28,000, right, or 29,000. The payment is the same. So this is outstanding. What a great tip, Sherry. Expect a lot of phone calls, Sherry.
Yes, I am happy to go into detail about this. Okay, so this is a 2-1 temporary buy down. Okay, so this means it's temporary. So basically what's happening here in the very first year, right? The seller is subsidizing the buyer's payment. So in the first year, it's going to be a 2% buy down. So that's where you see the 5 1/8. On the second year, it's going to be a 1% buy down. So this one gets a little more complicated, guys, because now you have to put something in the contract. And I'm sure Justin, will be able to tell you guys how that needs to read for compliance reasons, but it's got to be in the contract. And this money that gets subsidized for the buyer, this seller credit per se, has to go into an escrow account. So it does get a little more complicated, and it's temporary, right? So the rate's eventually going to go up to what we're seeing now. So personally, I prefer the permanent buy down, which is a lot easier, puts it all on us. We'll take care of it. The seller, just puts the credit on the contract as any other credit. Seller agrees to give buyer $6,000 towards closing costs. That's the first scenario. This scenario is going to be a little different. So maybe if there's somebody who's going to move in 2 years, I don't know. But this may be attractive to, your buyers. I'm happy to explain it to them. So it's just another way to offset what's going on in the market right now. So that is the 2-1 buy down. Next slide, please. And I'm sure you guys have heard this ad nauseum. They're marrying the home and dating the rate. So yes, this is true though, right? What goes up must come down. So the rates are going to come down once they get a hold of, the inflation and do what they're doing, then the rates will come down. We'll refinance them out. It's like barely nothing out of pocket, just the appraisal. And we'll get them into that lower rate. So we just got to encourage them that this is not, these rates are not permanent. So we want to just encourage them to build equity, right? Because the equity is going to offset the higher rate anyway. So, yeah, so really that's it for the seller buy down. Feel free to reach out to me after the meeting. I'm happy to explain anything more in depth for you guys. And let's see. Oh, I just want to ask you guys to do me a favor. And I know you guys do this anyway, but just to do due diligence in the beginning of the transaction, as far as finding out what the HOA requirements are. If they have credit score requirements, typically my buyers all have great credit scores, but sometimes, we're trying to help people get into home ownership, and, and if their scores are less than perfect, and by God's grace, we could do the loan, the HOA may not accept that, client because their credit score. So just please, let us know what the HOA requirement is up front so we could have a smooth transaction. That's it for me, guys. Go out and rock the vote today. Voting is a privilege, and stay safe from Nicole. And I'm always here for you, your second opinions, your pre-approvals, your random mortgage questions. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Sherry. All right, Kim, are you ready?
I'm ready. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. All right, well, if we can move on, there is a new scam, I would say. The people who are do fraudulent business are always looking for new innovative ways. They're getting much more complex, and they're getting much more sophisticated at. So this is just one to make you aware of something to let maybe some triggers go off if you get into some situations. Again, a lot of this revolves around vacant land, and basically what fraudsters are doing is they're going through Sunbiz, and they're looking for companies that have gone dormant for a while. They've been inactive or dormant for a period of time. Then what they are doing is they're going in and refiling documents, changing who the managing members are or the officers are, and putting new names there, filing that so it goes in Sunbiz. And then once that's done, a lot of times they're doing fraudulent deeds, changing the names to their names, so they get that recorded. If there are unpaid taxes, they'll go in and pay the taxes, and then they will try to make a sale on that land. So one of the ways to, the red flags you'd be looking for, again, anything vacant land, that starts there. Secondly, absolutely, you had mentioned earlier, Justin, about anyone who's overseas, out of the country, you've never met them in person, you've never talked to them, you've never seen them, and they only want to communicate with you via email. Big red flag. So just if you have something like that, extra due diligence, obviously we take a lot of extra precautions when we're doing vacant land transactions too, but just something to be mindful of, that this is another way that people are selling property that they don't own. So if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to us, and we'll help you any way we can. Yeah, big thing is stop and ask questions, and don't let them rush you into a transaction. That's another rush. We need to close. So that's always something to be mindful of. Okay, and then I wanted to just let you know about the last 4 classes we have for November, and I wanted to read you the details of what the classes go into and go over, because there's a lot of really good information on these. We still have 4 coming up, one on the 10th, and that's closing deals without stress. So sign us up for that one. Real estate agents will dive into 6 aspects of the real estate transaction that brings the most stress. The topics are going to include seller's disclosure statements, bankruptcy, divorce, short sale, FIRPTA, and the closing process. Then on the 17th, planning for real estate success. This is great to get the prepare starting in the new year. Studies have shown that you become 42% more likely to achieve your goals and dreams by writing them down on a regular basis. It's a 2-hour workshop that they're going to set goals by using interactive calculators, develop a business plan that is geared towards your goals, write an elevator speech that can be used for one-on-one appointments, and end in ways to stay in touch with your past clients. So that's a planning tool. And then procuring cause doctrine in Florida. What happens when a buyer works with more than one agent on a transaction? Who receives the commission when the home sale is complete? Learn about your rights as a real estate agent to the commission under the Procuring Clause Act. And then the very last one is also a credit hour option for 2 hours of credit, protecting yourself and your business. The Department of Labor considers real estate sales and leasing a hazardous occupation. In this course, you will learn ways to protect yourself at listings, showing open houses and beyond, and you will dive deep into protecting your business from cyber fraud. So those are some really wonderful classes that you can take advantage of. And then the last thing is I wanted to reach out and say thank you to all those who we had closed deals with on behalf of all of us at FTGA. There's your smiling team. Thank you to Donna Hardy, Elaine Bishop, Bob Waback, Edith Marchese, and then that's for Boca. Then we have for the Boynton office, Jennifer Booker and Denise Sicarius. So thank you guys so much. And I look forward to seeing you at the Thanksgiving potlucks.
Thank you, Kim. And Christine was asking you if the links for the classes are going to be sent. They were sent already, but we will send them again. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
keep an eye on your inbox because we send a week ahead with all these links. We'll send it again. I'll ask Jessica to send it again today.
Thanks, Justin.
Now, Saud, like I told you, is going to join us only via video. So I am going to need you guys to tell me, this is set up to share sound, but just in case, I'm going to play a video. If you cannot hear the sound, because I can hear it from here, please put something on the chat, okay? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Turner, and I'm your American Home Shield representative. And today we're going to talk just a little bit about how the cost of appliance repair has changed over time and how that relates to home warranty. Of course, we've all felt the effects of inflation over the last couple of years on necessities that we need, and the appliance industry is no different. The inflation rate of appliances rose 7.8% from April 2021 to April 2022. As of 2020, the average household was spending $135 per year to repair small appliances and $354 per year to repair larger appliances. And we all know about the availability issues with replacement of appliances, but the cost of those has also risen. The Consumer Price Index for major appliances was up 9.5% from May 2021 to May 2022. So not only do we have availability issues there, but we also have a pricing increase. So how does that relate to a home warranty? When we're discussing that on average, a homeowner is spending $354 per year to repair a normal appliance in their home, and the cost of a home warranty is $400 to $700 per year, as you guys know, then the conversation there becomes a no-brainer to make sure we're having the conversation with our clients and making sure they are aware that a home warranty is available to them. Obviously, with a home warranty, we're not only covering just one appliance that a homeowner would need repair or replacement cost on, but we're also covering major systems in the home as well as those appliances, which we'll see in a couple moments, the average cost of what homeowners are incurring when needing to repair major systems as well as appliances. So how can we move past this inflation uncertainty? Repairing or replacing household systems and appliances is only going to continue to grow and become more of a burden. So especially in situations where buyers are foregoing inspections, having a home warranty in place can certainly help to protect the buyer from having buyer's remorse. So our home warranty can certainly help save your clients money because we are that budget protection. We can also help to save them time. Instead of them having to locate a technician on their own, they just call us directly and we'll dispatch that technician to them, which can also be a great resource to have when you have a client that's not living in the area or is just moved to the area and not familiar with technicians or who to call in an instance of needing a repair replacement. And of course, we provide ongoing support to your clients and provides peace of mind in an instance of a repair replacement. They know that they have that budget protection there to back them up. So what we're seeing here is the average cost of what a home buyer could be facing when needing repair or replacement on major systems or appliances. So as you can see, it's several thousands of dollars that a homeowner would incur without having a home warranty to replace a major system and several hundreds of dollars to replace an appliance. So make sure that you are having the home warranty conversation with your clients and letting them know this budget protection is available to them. We actually have certain options available to a homeowner to give them more flexibility when making payments for a home warranty, especially in a situation where a buyer is purchasing on their own and not being provided a warranty. they can break their warranty payments down into monthly payments. There is no penalty or interest on doing this, so they pay the same cost whether they pay it in full or pay it monthly. So that is an option available to them. And also your clients have 90 days to purchase a home warranty. So it's not something that has to be done prior to the purchase of the home or even during that real estate transaction. They can get the same real estate product that me and you are familiar with within 90 days of the closing of the home. Even after 90 days, we do still have a home warranty that is available to them. It's just structured a little bit differently. So if you have a client that is interested in either scenario or just interested in having a conversation about coverage and not sure what fits their needs, please feel free to have them reach out to me directly and we can go over those options. I also wanted to make you aware of our appliance discount program. This is available to members of American Home Shield, but all members are able to purchase major appliances directly through us at our cost. So this can be cost-saving measures as opposed to going to a big box store like Home Depot or Lowe's and purchasing those appliances. So the way they would access that is just go to ahs.com, log in directly through their portal, and they'll be able to view the options as far as appliances there and see the cost for that. Again, that is something that they do have to be a member of American Home Shield, but they do not have to have an active work order going on. It's not something that requires that, to be in place. They can just purchase a new appliance directly through us at any time. So you'll see the website there. This actually links you directly to that appliance discount program. But if you would like for me to send that to you, feel free to call or email me and I'll get that over to you. Well, thank you guys for giving me the time today and listening to how appliance cost has changed over the last few years. And if you have any questions or if I can help anyway, please feel free to reach out anytime. Hope you're having a great day. Hi, I'm Tiffany Turner.
All right, Gabby, were you able to make it? I know that Gabby was at another office meeting just now, so.
I made it. I'm here.
Hi, Gabby.
I slid right in. I apologize. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to make it through, but I'm here. So thank you for having me.
You got it.
So I did want to share some information. Unfortunately, as we all know, we are under a binding restriction. Officially, it started yesterday. So the carriers, all of the carriers we work with have officially let us know they're on a binding restriction. We do have to wait until the storm passes before they'll reopen. So we're hoping it's going to be by Friday, the latest, but we really don't know because it just depends how bad it is and what kind of damage everyone is left with. But I did want to go over some information. Some of the feedback that I've been getting and the calls from the agents led me to come up with this new checklist, which we'll be glad to share with you. So the things that everyone kept calling me about and wanting to know about is, what are the things that we should consider when we're listing properties and also while we have a buyer? So the main thing, and this is of course was after Hurricane Ian came through, is if there's any damage to the property, the insurance companies will not insure the home. So we do have to wait until those repairs are completed and everything is insurable. So any existing damage has to be addressed. Unfortunately, carriers are no longer giving us time to get those items done after closing like they were at one point. Right now, they're very strict where they want everything to be taken care of before closing. There is still an exception for the roof. So citizens will still allow up to 60 days for the roof to be repaired after closing, but it is based on underwriting approval. So essentially we have to submit a 4-point inspection. We have to have a signed roofing contract up front that states that it will be completed within 60 days of closing. The other big thing that we're coming across is open claims. So any property that has an open claim is not insurable until that claim is settled and closed. So if there is an open claim, that claim cannot be transferred to the new buyer. The property has to be repaired and the claim has to be closed and settled. The positive side to that is that if the claim is closed, we don't have to wait until it shows up on the loss report, which can take 30 to 60 days. We are able to accept an official letter from the current insurance company stating that that claim is closed. So it has to be a letter. We can't accept just an email saying claim is closed. It has to be a letter from that insurance company stating that the claim is officially closed. Typically, they'll include the claim number, the property address, which is what we really need to make sure we can provide to the insurance company so they know that that's closed and settled. As always, we're still taking into account the age of the roof. Since the carriers cannot decline solely on the age of the roof, we have to prove that the condition of the roof is in satisfactory condition and has at least 5 years of life left. Citizens is still the exception. They will accept 3 years or more. So that's still an option that we can go with. Typically, if we go with Citizens, I tell clients they don't have to stay with Citizens for the whole year unless they choose to. If any items addressed that got us to Citizens, we can always go back to the standard market and reshop it again. The other thing that carriers are also very picky about now is going to be the AC and water heater. So they are asking that those be replaced within the last 10 to 15 years. If they have not been replaced, some carriers will not insure the property. Other carriers, it doesn't matter to them, but for the most part, we're seeing that most carriers are looking at 10 to 15 years for the AC and water heater. We also want to make sure that we let all the clients know, and just a friendly reminder that flood is not covered with the homeowner's policy. Unfortunately, we did see a lot of locations in Orlando specifically where I'm at that did flood that we were never expecting would flood. So again, flood is something that we also do handle here. Home services insurance, we can provide a flood quote with the homeowners, but it is a separate policy. Flood insurance is transferable. What we're seeing right now a lot is that if someone already has a flood policy in place, it's best to have that policy transferred over to the new owner. The way that flood is calculated is different as of October 1st of last year. So we are seeing that the rates have increased. The benefit of having the flood policy transfer over is that any credits or any discounts that are currently on the policy will still transfer over to the new owner. So that's the reason we recommend that. So with all that information, taking into account also the feedback that I'm getting from the agents, that's what led us to making a list of the items that are not insurable. So I wanted to share that with you as well. And we can share these slides so you have them so you know exactly what to look for. But with that uninsurable list, what I wanted to come up with is something that would help you guys as the agents, as you're helping your clients to get in front of any potential insurability issues. And that's where I went ahead and put together an insurable home checklist. It has sections for the roof, it has sections for the electrical, the plumbing, and it also lets you know when to have the 4-point inspection and wind mitigation completed. So all the information that you'll see on the insurability home checklist does come from this list of items that are not insurable. So that way, if you do see any of those items at the property, or if you know that those are being disclosed, you can get ahead of it. And also possibly this will let you know of any items that you can negotiate to have repaired or replaced. And then the next slide goes into the checklist, which I tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. We are asking agents that as you use it, if you find that there's anything that can be tweaked, if you find that there's anything that could make it easier, more user-friendly, please let us know. But this is the quickest way and the main items that can make a property not insurable, or at least lets you know if there's going to be any issues for the potential property that you're listing or the buyer. Also, the last slide is just a flyer that you're welcome to share with your clients. Lets them know, and of course yourself, these services are also available to yourselves, but just gives you a brief overview of who home services is. Of course, we have choices. We're a broker. So we don't only do homeowners, we also do auto, umbrella, recreational vehicles, essentially any insurance item that you're needing to insure, we can assist you with. One of the biggest things that we want to promote is convenience. We make it very easy for the client to get the insurance in place, to make sure that we can get them to the closing table as soon as possible. And I'm very grateful to be able to work with great agents like yourself and Prosperity Mortgage and Title. Keeping everything in-house just makes it flow so much easier because we know how we each work and we can communicate with each other quickly and efficiently as possible. So that's one of the biggest things that we always want to promote is how convenient it is to get everything done and make sure that we get the client to the closing table. And I know everyone always tells me money talks at the end of the day, and I absolutely understand that, which is why savings is one of the top 3 reasons that you should choose home services. Is we know that the industry, unfortunately, we've seen rate increases year after year. So our main priority is to make sure that we can save on the insurance policy, and we're able to do that through looking at different options, not just insuring the home, but also looking at bundling options. So I always like to throw that in there, that we try to do everything we possibly can to have that premium be as low as possible, but of course, without sacrificing on the coverage. So down below just gives a little more information of what we have to offer. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. As you use the checklist of insurability and you have any questions, once you have the 4-point, feel free to email me, call me, and we can review it over the phone or via text, whichever is most convenient for you. But I want to make sure that we can address any potential issues and we can go ahead and get the property insured, because that's the biggest thing usually that comes between being able to close on the home or not, is if we can find a good policy for the client. So feel free to reach out. I did want to just mention, I can only receive text messages on my cell phone number, which is the 336 number. And I only mentioned that because I had an agent call me and say, hey, you never replied to my text. And it turned out they were texting my office number. So I just want to make sure that we can communicate. And if you prefer text, my cell phone is the only way that I can receive that. But did you guys have any questions, any concerns?
Debbie Lang had a question. She posted it on the chat. Thank you, Debbie, for the question. And her question is, how old should the roof be with 5 years of life left?
So there's not an age limit. Each carrier is different. So before, where a lot of the carriers were saying the roof has to be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So once it goes over 15, there's still a possibility that the carrier could decline it. And it's mostly because we see that there's not going to be at least 5 years of life left. Also, at one point, it did matter what material the roof was, if it was tile, if it was architectural shingles, or metal. Again, with some carriers, it doesn't make a difference. It has to have at least 5 years of life left. Other carriers, they're putting an age limit to tile roofs where it's 20 years. So again, each carrier is different, but because we're a broker, we have different carriers that we can work with, and we can place the client with the appropriate carrier if needed. But again, it's not solely based on the age. So we can't say if it's 10 years and older, then it's not going to be insurable. We have to be able to prove that it has at least 5 years of life left with the standard carriers and 3 years with Citizens.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for that, Gabby. And there was one more. Carol, you raised your hand. Do you want to ask anything?
Actually, I was raising my hand after the American Home Shield presentation. So I want Gabby to finish and then I'll go back to the American Home Shield.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions that you can think of, feel free to reach out at any point. I am available on the weekends via text, but you guys can call me anytime and I will reply the same day. If I can't get to you the same day, I'll shoot you a text or at least email you and let you know what's going on and when I can get in touch with you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Gabby. Thank you. Outstanding presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
Thank you, Gabby. So everyone, just a quick reminder, as far as American Home Shield goes, and if this is something you're interested in doing, I would encourage you to reach out to Saud, because as a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Realty, you can insure your own home with a warranty through American Home Shield, and you also get a discount for that. So if you're thinking, maybe I should sign up for that home warranty program, please reach out to Saud. Make sure you get your discount, and it is a very great product. So just wanted to make that little reminder, Justin.
Outstanding. Oh, I know that Ray has been a customer of American Home Shield for a long time, and he's very happy with them. So excellent, excellent. All right, so you guys have a treat coming up. The first one is tomorrow, and the next one is the following Wednesday. And only 45 minutes per session, because I asked Mr. Lazaro Rodriguez, who's the trainer for IMAP, to give me a very concentrated 2-session webinar on IMAP. So tomorrow he's going to cover basic functionality for just a few minutes, and then he's going to work on detail on how to do CMAs on IMAP. Just yesterday, I was working with one of your colleagues, and she was surprised that with IMAP, you can actually do a CMA with one click. And if you want to refine the CMA to absolute perfection, it really takes you something like another 4 or 5 clicks. Can you imagine that? In about 10 seconds, you have a very good CMA. But that is just one of the many capabilities of IMAP. The other one that is going to be covered next Wednesday, 1 week from tomorrow, it's prospecting. IMAP is an extremely powerful prospecting tool. So everybody has the link. I'm going to send the link again and again and again. Today, a couple of times, tomorrow in the morning, and then next week for the second session. But join this meeting. All you need is a Zoom link. That's all. You don't need to install any software. Just join the meeting. It's going to be only 45 minutes, a lot of information, and IMAP is a very powerful tool. Make sure you become an expert. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about just for a couple of minutes is cybersecurity. I sent this morning a little guide on basic cybersecurity items. I encourage you to read it. If you did not receive it, let me know and I'll send it again. It's just a guide that I put together myself, but briefly, things that I want to cover right now. Our industry is being targeted by professional and very sophisticated criminals. This is not the crass, the absurd, the grotesque email telling you, I have $100 million, I want to share it with you, my beloved. No, these are very, very sophisticated criminals. You need to understand that they are targeting our industry more than anything else in the world. We are target number 1 for these criminals, and they are very smart. You cannot dismiss their capabilities. Once they get access to one of your accounts, everything else can begin to unravel. So step number 1 for you, and this should be essential, and you should never neglect this, is to have very strong passwords. And step number 2, if two-factor authentication is possible, if it is available, use it. Use two-factor authentication if it is available, right? Now, I am going to give you a very easy tip to have an absolutely bulletproof password. It's very easy. It's actually a bit funny, but it works. I'm going to show you something, and these are actual facts, okay? This is actual data. If your password is a variation of 6 numbers, like for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I just want to say that doesn't have to be in that order. An algorithm made to crack passwords will unlock it in a span of time that is not measurable because it's so fast. If your password is another 6 digits, but in any random order, it takes 0.15 seconds. 0.15 seconds, not 15 seconds, 0.15, right? 15% of 1 second, that's what it takes for an algorithm to crack that. And this test I ran like 2 years ago. So today it may be much faster than this. Now imagine and say, okay, I'm very clever. So my password is going to be my pet's name and the year. Well, that can be cracked in a few seconds too. So you're not safe at all. And let's say that you have heard that if you combine 3 words and you use uppercase and lowercase, your password is going to be very secure. Well, if your password is something like live, love, laugh, well, your password will be cracked in just 2 hours. And remember, there's never a hacker sitting at a computer pounding the keyboard trying to get through. This is a computer trying to crack thousands of accounts at the same time, and computers have a lot of patience. So if you think that 2 hours to crack a password is a long time, it isn't, because these computers are trying to crack accounts for hours at a time. And remember, we are being targeted, so hackers are paying special attention to every realtor. Now imagine that your password is something like uppercase Y, D, K, I, U, uppercase Y, D, D. Well, that is not a word, it's not in any dictionary. That particular password would take 5 years to crack. So that password is actually pretty decent, right? And now imagine that you grab the same combination of letters and add a pound sign and 1776. Well, that would take 3 million years to crack for the same algorithm that can crack your Success 2022 in 5 seconds. Now, I know what you're going to tell me right now. You're rolling your eyes all the way to the back of your skull and say, but Justin, how am I going to remember that? That is very complicated. And here's the trick. Here's the trick. That weird password, YDKIUYDD pound 1776, is the initials to the lyrics to Yankee Doodle. So if there is a song that you memorized when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, and you still remember the lyrics, do not tell me what it is, but you can do the same thing. Look at the screen. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. You see how I'm highlighting the initials in red? And then I'm just adding 1776 because, you know, Yankee Doodle will make you think about independence. So this is super easy to remember, but it is a password that would take 3 million years to crack. So after this meeting, I strongly encourage you, go to your computer, think of a password that is absolutely bulletproof. Think of, if you remember a song that you loved 20 years ago, you will definitely remember that song for the rest of your life. Create a password and start changing all those Success 2022 or I love my children passwords. You need to have secure passwords because you are gateway number 1 for criminals to get into a real estate transaction and then communicate with the parties and impersonating different parties. And finally, they strike by sending the wrong wire instructions to your buyer. And they will block legit emails because they have complete control of your inbox if your password is not secure. And guess what? If at this point right now, there is a hacker that has gained access to your inbox, and that is perfectly possible, there is a hacker that right now is monitoring all your email communications. If after this meeting, you go to your account and you change your password to something very strong and you add 2-factor authentication, that hacker will lose access to your account instantly. So do me a favor, give these guys a hard time, change your password. Another thing I want to mention is something that came up recently. In the real estate industry, we tend to be comfortable with what is standard. It happens on every transaction, so we expect it to happen on the transaction that we're working on right now. But sometimes we are dealing with cooperating brokers that are not particularly forthcoming, and that's the best word I can use. So in the as is contract, the new version that came out in November of last year, when they describe personal property, they did not add the washer and the dryer. Now I know what you're thinking, Justin. In every transaction in Florida, it is customary to leave the washer and the dryer. What are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about a very real scenario that we had recently in which the washer and the dryer was advertised on the MLS. The washer and the dryer was there when the buyers went to see the property once and twice. The washer and the dryer was there at the inspection, and the inspection with the listing agent make a big deal about talking how great this washer and dryer was and you were not going to have any problems. But the washer and the dryer were gone, evaporated at the time of the walkthrough. And because it was not on the contract, guess what happened? So little tiny detail, if the washer and dryer are there on the listing, add it to the contract. Avoid having a hard time and having to explain to your buyer why, yes, the washer and dryer was there when you saw it, the inspector told you about it, the listing agent was there, but guess what? You need to buy a new washer and dryer because the sellers took it when they moved out. And now for the happy stuff. We are going to have a potluck on Tuesday, November 15th at the Boca office. Everyone is welcome. Bring something delicious that you prepare at home. We will have refreshments, we will have turkey, and we are going to have a good time. So Tuesday, November 15th at noon at the Boca office. If you're planning to participate, please send me or Jessica or Vivian an email letting us know that you're coming and let us know what delicious plate you are bringing from home. Like I said at the beginning of the meeting, this is our last meeting for 2022. Our next meeting is going to be in January. I love you all. This has been a fascinating year for the real estate industry, and next year is going to be very good. So If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you reach out to Carol, reach out to me, send us an email. We are always available 7 days a week